Good morning. So, today I wanted to talk to you about making your cutoff game so big that people will start asking, did that person even exist? Where'd they go? What happened to them? Why don't I know what's going on with them? So, instead of you sitting there constantly thinking about somebody else, go live your life. Because people are taken out of your life for a reason. You're no longer on the same path. You're not energetically aligned. They've done things behind your back you're not aware of. So one thing that you have to remember, and I had to learn this myself, is that when you're rejected, you're being protected. So instead of sitting in hurt and saying, why am I not good enough? Why did this happen to me? When is it my turn? Take some time for yourself and get to know yourself and be okay being with just yourself. Because until you can be alone and be satisfied with yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, understand that your flaws are more than likely your strengths, instead of being around people that are going to point out your flaws to you, or they're going to use you in such a way that you benefit them, but they don't give you anything in return. So when it comes down to it, like I said, you've got to learn to start cutting these people out of your life. And it seems hard at first. And people used to tell me, you can't just cut people off. And I was like, watch me. Snip, snip, snip. Bye. And don't look back. But that's kind of an Aquarian trait also. Excuse me. So as an Aquarian, when we're done with you, we're done. Like, you go out with yesterday's trash. I'll give you so many chances, because Aquarians, we are very forgiving people. We look for the best in people. We encourage people to step out of their comfort zone, push their own boundaries, not to push other people's boundaries. And a lot of times when you start pushing other people's boundaries and pushing them out of their comfort zone, that's when an Aquarian is like, shoo, get away from me. Because I see it as you are attracting karma, and I don't want to be close enough to you for that to get on me, right? Like, no. So when you're around people that aren't necessarily serving your highest good, and someone once told me that that's very selfish of me, and I had to laugh and go, so me putting me first and protecting me is selfish in your eyes. If anyone ever tells you that, stop dealing with them. Because more than likely you're dealing with someone who is narcissistic, that they look at it as it's all about them. So when you actually have the nerve to stand up to them and say, look, you're not even benefiting my life in any way, but I'm benefiting yours, the reciprocation is not there. You're taking. You keep taking. I keep giving. So even for myself, I had to learn to set boundaries and say, okay, I've given you this much, and it wasn't to get something in return, but the simple fact is you're not giving back. So if I keep filling your cup, my cup's empty. Like, what am I going to have? Nobody's filling my cup. And I'm just over there just pouring it out all over the place. So in the end, you can't take care of yourself if you keep giving to everyone else. So, like I said in the very beginning, when you're dealing with people that they're not treating you right, cut them out of your life. Don't feel any guilt about it. Don't look back. And you want to get to a point where you can begin to transition your mind out of those thoughts, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or the why me, or my throat is really off today. But you need to get out of that mindset that you're being punished. Because honestly, when you can take a step back and you start looking at these people are examples for you to reflect on yourself, what you allow, what you're going to allow others to push you to do. There's a lot of things that our peers, in school we learned it as peer pressure. So even as we get older, our peers are the people around us in this world. So look at it as somebody that, say you're driving in traffic or you're just driving down the freeway and someone wants to go faster. So they start riding on your bumper. Well, a lot of people will speed up, but you have to consider the fact you might not have as good of insurance as they do. You get the ticket, they get away with it. So they pushed you to do something that you were not doing. So in the end, when you allow people to dictate your behavior, you're opening yourself up to certain aspects of life that you're going to be taught a lesson in a way. And it's easy to say, well, I don't get caught. Maybe not then, but at some point in your life, right? At some point, one day, and that day that you can't afford it. But instead of surrounding yourself with people that want to eat from your table but not bring anything to the potluck, try to cut those people out of your life. Swim to calmer waters. And when you can do that, you might actually find yourself sitting on a beach, right? You might find yourself actually relaxing and being like, oh, life is actually not as bad as I thought. But you're going to have to go through your ego telling you you're a loser, you're alone, nobody cares about you, where you're attacking your own self. So try not to get into this repetitive thought pattern of if you're alone, you're worthless. Because honestly, if you can be alone and you can embrace yourself, that takes a lot of strength and courage. Because there's a lot of people that refuse to take a look at their shadow side. You have this pain body, and Eckhart Tolle talks about it. The pain body is the child that was wounded early on in life. And so you start to have this side to you. It's basically the shadow side. So whenever something triggers you, that pain body comes out and it wants to induce the same pain that it's hanging on to. That's where misery loves company comes from. So if you can realize what your pain body is, you can begin to heal it. And I remember when I first started working with that about 3 years ago. And it took a lot for me to face myself. Because I was like, no, I'm not the bad guy here. I didn't do that. I don't behave like that. Excusing myself left and right. And I had to say, okay, come on, you're going to have to get real with yourself. That you're not perfect. That you unintentionally go around hurting people, or you unintentionally go around and enable them to allow them to hurt you. So in the aspect that I wasn't going around using other people, I was allowing them to use me. And that understanding for me came that I was hurting myself because I didn't want to see others hurt. And that is abandoning yourself. When you're willing to take on everyone else's pain, so they don't feel it, so they can have a good life. But when it comes down to it, they're miserable, and no matter what you do, no matter the recognition or the compromise or the give that you allow, they're not going to be happy. And it's as simple as they can't face the truth about their pain body themselves and heal those inner wounds that they have. And it, like I said in the very beginning, it was really hard because I couldn't accept the fact that I wasn't a victim, let's say. But when I embraced that concept and I started focusing on what triggered me, what I needed to fulfill me, how I was letting people push my boundaries and having stronger boundaries, how I was being forced to work out on a spiritual scale, right? Because you go to the gym, you're going to see the results. You work out on a spiritual level, people might not actually notice the change in you until you've changed so much that they can't recognize you. And when it gets to that point, people will poke at you. And that's where you have to remember to make your cutoff game so strong that you're basically burning the bridge. You're cutting the energetic ties to all of these people that are like, but wait, no, they have their fuel line into you and sucking the life out of you. And you've got to learn to cut these cords. You've got to learn to cut the lifeline you're giving them that allows them to suck the life out of you. Because when it comes down to it, a lot of givers, we get hurt a lot. And it's because we allow so many chances. We look for the best in people. We encourage that in people. So instead of pointing out their flaws, we point out, oh, this is awesome that you're doing this. It's almost like false validation to basically put life into this person. But the problem with that, the one thing that I've learned about that, is that when you're giving this false validation to encourage someone to grow and be a better person, all you're doing is stroking their ego. So as you're stroking their ego, you're inflating their concept of themselves. Most people already have a grandiose idea of themselves, meaning that in their mind, they're greater than what they actually have to offer to society or friends, family, whatever around them. So when it comes to being around somebody who's almost delusional, right? When you call them out about their behavior and say, hey, okay, I'm going to put this boundary in place to protect me, and at the same time to maybe show you my worth, that I understand my worth. And when you do that with somebody that has no self-worth, because basically that's a narcissist, they've been broken down so many times and it started so early in life that they have no self-esteem, that they've actually created a false identity to protect themselves because they don't want to be hurt, they don't want to be judged, they don't want to be punished. But in this life, the only person that can punish you is yourself. So when it comes down to it, you've got to stop worrying about the world around you, what it thinks about you. Because even last night, my daughter was talking about she didn't want to be judged. And I looked at her, I said, honey, who gives a shit what people think about you? And she said, well, I do. And I said, you're not. If you go with that concept in life, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to allow people to walk all over you. And it took a long time for me to understand, I don't care what you think about me. I go around and just say, you're welcome. Because in all honesty, I'm doing me. And if that offends you, hey, guess what you can do? Bye. You do not have to exist in my world, my reality, my perspective of things. I do not need to adjust it for anybody, and people don't have to stay in my presence. It's very simple. Because when you start behaving the way that you are, believe it or not, you're going to attract people who appreciate that. You're going to attract people that tends to empower, rather than be around people that you're like, I don't want them to see me. And now you have to wear a mask so that you're accepted. Because when you're putting on a false facade for them to accept you, you are abandoning yourself. You're actually fueling that pain body. So all you're going to do is find yourself crying in private because you don't want them to see you cry. You're going to do things that are going to create guilt because you wouldn't normally do that. You're going to alter your own lifestyle and no longer live your own life. And I've said multiple times, don't let somebody else take over your vessel, because they're going to drive it like they stole it. And when they wreck it, they're going to walk away, satisfied with themselves. So instead of worrying about other people, because essentially you're the only thing that matters in your world. You're the only one that's going to have to wake up with you every day. You're the only one that's going to have to love and accept you. You're the only one that's going to have to find what you love in life, what creative concepts you have in life. And when you can tap out of society and tap into yourself, you'd be amazed at the gifts that you find that you have. And as simple as you smiling at somebody and acknowledging them, that's you being somebody who's caring and open to the world around you. Maybe somebody needed that. Maybe you become the next great architect that creates a new design for the world that is more efficient and more effective for our way of life. But like I said, you have to tap out and then really tap in to get in touch with what you are capable of offering this world. Because honestly, the world is your stage. You get to choose who you want to be. And I thought the other day, If I could wake up every day and pick which vinyl record I want to put on and that's my theme music for the day, just kind of go through life. Just that's the beat for the day, or the dun dun dun. Just something. Change the beat every single day. You can wake up in a new world every day because of how you choose to wake up. If you wake up every day doing the same thing, here we go again. You're waking up not even embracing the life that you're being given. And this is the gift. This is what we're given. We are the only ones that have destroyed the gift. Because we want. And that just sounds like want. All the want leads to disappointment. All of the choices lead to the inability to choose. So when we get down to it, we have to really start questioning how it is we're functioning in life. Are you going out with embracing the day? What can I do today? What can I accomplish? Just feeling good about yourself, and if anyone gives you a sideways glance, and go on. You will never see them again. And if you do, who cares? When my car was broke down, my son and I walked to the store, and there's this lady that always asks for something. And the day we were walking, she looked over. I don't even think she recognized us. She kind of took a second glance, but she didn't ask for anything. And I thought, why would you ask somebody that you feel is in your same boat? Why would you ask somebody to help you when they don't have a vehicle? If they're walking, you assume they don't have any money either. So when it comes down to it, people will always evaluate what they can get from you, what benefit you will bring to their life. So instead of giving them that opportunity, do it for yourself. What can I give to me today? What can I achieve in my life today? What can I build? What kind of dream do I have? I am powerful. I am abundant. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am wise. Start reminding yourself what you're capable of. Because honestly, the more you share your blessings, the more people want to poke holes. That's like I have some great news, and I just don't want to share it right now. Because I do have haters. I do have people that are still watching and waiting for my failure so they can go, I knew it! I knew it! And I'm not giving them that. I'm not allowing them the privilege to even know what step I'm taking. But you know what? I'll keep glowing up, and then when I show up, how in the world did she manage that? So instead of telling everybody your business, keep working on it. Don't give anybody the chance to destroy what you're working on. And the best way to do that is to make your cutoff game so strong they can't even see what you're doing. Raise your vibration to the point that those people that are that toxic can no longer even get in touch with you. And of course, when you start having thoughts of other people, understand that they're pulling on you energetically to pull you back to the place where they had you failing, questioning yourself. No ability to fight. No ability to break free and move forward and become the greatest version of yourself that you can possibly be. Because people don't want to allow it. Why? Because they can't do it. They can. They don't want to. Because a lot of people have learned how to profit off of manipulating those around them, undervaluing them, not appreciating them, reminding them that they're not really worth shit. So when it comes down to it, love yourself, protect yourself, keep your blessings to yourself, keep your life private. Just act like you're a movie star. Nobody's got to know what happens in your house. That is, unless there's abuse involved, and I encourage you to speak up. Because nobody's going to stop it. Nobody's going to step in and say, you can't do that to that person. But you know who can? You can. And you're strong enough. I promise you. It takes courage. And like I said, if at any point anyone's going through the muck, reach out. And this is one thing I never even say to anybody, and I'm saying it at the end rather than the beginning of this video. But hey, I encourage you to share these videos, because honestly, I hope what I'm saying is giving people the power back, building your muscles up, helping you understand you are worthy of living your own life. You are intelligent enough to decide what is best for you, and you have the right to be happy. So like, share, subscribe, whatever. And I'm going to leave it on that note, and I hope everyone has a very beautiful day. Peace out.